Welcome to the conversation that's as diverse as the dogs that we adore. This is Gundogs and Guard Dogs, the ultimate podcast dedicated to talking sense about dogs, with Les Graham and Ross McCarthy, both dog behaviourists and trainers for longer than they care to mention. From the wild north in bonnie Scotland to the busy streets and parks of inner city London, they bring you valuable insights and honest conversations about the social predator you share your home with. So here we go, about 45 minutes of gun dogs, guard dogs, good dogs, some maybe not so good dogs, and a dash of gossip.
Mr. McCarthy, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well today. How are you?
I'm good. I've got my coffee. All is good with the world.
That's good. I have also got my coffee, which is far superior to yours.
I don't think so.
My cold coffee addiction. Yeah.
Well, I've got a frothy coffee that I made with my little coffee machine and a frother, the same as the one you got me years ago, and I packed up earlier in the year. So,
my goodness.
My Advanced Pet Gundog Club thermal mug.
Have you got your advanced pet Gundog thermals on as well?
I haven't got any thermals on today.
God, in Scotland.
Well, I suppose this is a merino wool polo neck, so I suppose this is kind of a thermal. But yeah, I've got thermal socks on. But apart from that, I haven't got any thermals.
That's a first.
It's pretty warm up here today. It's just wet and damp and a bit miserable. But it's not cold by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Well, I mean, to be fair, you are the absolute world's leading expert in thermal garments, aren't you? I mean, the amount of research you've done and the amount of clothes that you have that are self-heating or, thin and warm and God knows what else.
I know. I need to get some more. My thermals, because I got thermals. Oh, when I come back from New Zealand in 2007 from Marks and Spencer, that I'd just finally given up the ghost. See,
they say soppy Southerners and whatever. I mean, all I've got is a big coat. You're from wherever where you go out in like -10 with your mini skirt and your crop top on, aren't you? Go club.
I never did that. I never really did that. I used to wear I did go in a mini skirt, but I would have tights on, like thick woolly tights on.
Yeah.
And my Docs, my monkey boots, they were like Doc Martens, and then I'd have a jumper and a Viger jacket on.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
I didn't go out in these little belts with these little belt style skirts that look more like belts with bare legs, and no, I didn't do that.
I used to call them pussy pelmets.
No. Did you?
I didn't. My gran did. Yeah.
Oh, how funny!
Yeah, that's what it is, like a pelmet, isn't it? Not.
We used to call them belts, which is nice belt.
Nice belt, yeah.
Oh, it was really sad the other day. I was out with the dogs and I was coming back and there was a young girl walked past me. She had a short school skirt on, and black tights and a rucksack. She had a bag over her side, over one side, and it hitched her skirt up.
Ooh. And
she didn't realise, and I thought, no, I'm not gonna spare her blushes. So I called her over and I said, look, I don't know if you know, but from the back you can actually see your pants, like that much of your pants. And she said, I didn't know. I said, well, just there's a building site opposite us, and it's like, just so you know,
God, awkward.
Watch your bag, because when you wear a satchel below the length of your skirt, it'll hitch your skirt up.
Oh God.
Have to be really careful with it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, every
little bit of gossip to start the week with.
Every day's a school day, isn't it? Learn something.
It is. I did not know they were called pussy pelmets. Pussy pelmets.
Yeah, that was from my gran. That's where that was came from.
Yes, I don't think that's politically correct anymore, though.
Probably not. Probably wasn't then, to be fair.
No.
Oh dear.
So this week we're moving on from puppies on when we're moving on to living with a dog.
Living with dogs. Yeah.
Dogs, as I say up here.
Dogs.
Dogs. It's a dog. Doug the dog.
Dog.
My dog's called Doug.
Is it not a dog?
No, you do quite a good Scottish accent actually, but no, the people who I know around here, it might be like different between east and west. I think I'm used to hearing the Glasgow accent, and it's Doug. It's a dog.
What do you call the police? Like, not you. What do the
Me? I call them the police.
Yes.
The Scots call them the police.
I love it. It's hilarious. Call the police. What?
You do realise there are Scots listening to now.
I know. I know. I used to work with a Scottish word. Yeah. So yeah, it was I thought she was mucking about when she used to say about the police, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Did you not used to watch? Oh, what was his name? Oh, don't start the sentence until you finished it in your head, Les. Who was the famous Scottish detective? And it's like, it's a police.
Oh, I don't know. I'm probably far too young to know that.
No, you're not. You're not that young. It'll come halfway through a sentence, I'm sure.
Oh God. Oh right. So
anyway. Dogs.
So we've done
dogs.
Dogs. Yes, living with dogs. That's where we were, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what?
Talking about socialization last time, weren't we? And socialization of puppies, but we still have to make sure our dogs are comfortable in their own skin when they get older as well, don't we?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the way that we live with dogs, as you were saying the last time we spoke, is really about starting off as you mean to go on, isn't it? Thinking about what you want from your adult dog and starting to kind of create that with your puppy, really.
Yeah. And so how would you go about creating that? Because we talked about, I think in one of the episodes we talked about like equipment, so we'd have crates to keep them safe at home and set some boundaries.
Yeah.
And so how would you go about extending the boundaries for an adult dog? So do the boundaries change as the puppy gets older and starts maturing, or?
I tend to have the same boundaries kind of throughout. I find it's easier for me because I live on my own. So people that live with families and stuff, obviously it's more difficult because you don't have quite that consistency. So I get to do what I want to do with my dogs. And I think a lot of it is quite natural to me because I'm not particularly tactile with them. So I have kind of, they get attention pretty much for doing things rather than just because they're
being
there.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. And I don't like dogs on my furniture and I don't like them in all areas of the house. So kind of by default of that, they have quite a lot of structure just because of the way that I live my life with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So that, not going on the furniture, they don't go upstairs because it's just all too much to clean, isn't it? It's hard enough downstairs. So don't have them upstairs and things. So all of those things help, but that's quite natural for me. And I realise it's not for lots of people. Lots of people do love having their dogs on the sofa, don't they, watching the telly and have them in their bed. And, people love doing that. So it doesn't float my boat at all. But I realise I'm the exception to the majority of dog owners.
Yeah, when I was younger, I absolutely loved having Kim on my bed.
Did you?
Yeah, she did. She came on my bed. We never went in my bed. Always went on my bed. And I used to fall asleep with her right up beside me. Yeah. And then she'd go and lie at the top of the stairs on the landing at my mum's. And when I had little Sabre, I didn't have him in the room. And Kenny's allergic to dogs. So I know, bless him. So the dogs have never been allowed in the bedroom. The only time the dogs were in the bedroom was when we first moved in here and there was like a mouse and rat infestation. And I couldn't bear having them in a different room. So we all stayed in one room while we got everything under control. But I'm not really keen on having them. I don't have them on my bed.
No.
I've had Dante in the room after I had quite a huge operation on my hand, and I really struggled. And we've got like a little walk-in wardrobe in the bedroom, and his bed went in the walk-in wardrobe. So he wasn't quite in the bedroom, but he was with me. Do you know? That was my excuse.
In the vicinity, yeah.
Yeah, he was there. I could see him, which was lovely. I'm not really into having dogs in the bedroom at all. I know where friends have had them in their bed with them. They've ended up with ticks on them and ticks embedded in them and claw marks. And no, it does not do it for me at all.
No, I don't like it. I do, if people want to do what they want to do, don't live and let live in it. But no, it doesn't float my boat. And I don't, I just, like I said, I find the whole cleaning aspect is, a component of that. I mean, if you've got your dog on your bed, it goes in the pot, goes in the river, does all of these things, rolls on the grass, then it's in your bed. I mean, you'd need to change your bed every couple of days, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And molting as well. Yeah. But do you think having the boundaries there, like this is, do you remember Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks and and the Dog de Bordeaux, and it's like he goes around and he goes, this is not your room, and no this, no that, no sniffing of crotches, this is not your room.
No
and
drinking out the toilet.
Sorry, no drinking out the toilet. And then he goes into this little room and he goes, this is your room. And Hooch shakes and he says, you can do as much of that in here as you want. And it is a bit like that, isn't it? Where, like my dogs pretty much live in the office. They come in the sitting room on the night time. They don't, sitting room doors shut up until we're going. They'll come in with us for lunch and then I'll leave it open in the afternoon. But they're not allowed just like free access to all of the rooms. I mean, I keep saying to Kenny, I don't know if my office is an office of the kennel, because this is where the dogs live. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, mine's a bit the same. Mine sort of in the family room, as I call it, which is just off the kitchen, as you know. They're in there most of the time. That has direct access into the garden. So currently it's quite nice and mild. So the doors are open the whole time to go in and out and whatever. Never come in the lounge, but I'd hardly ever do either. And don't go upstairs or anything like that. But I think it does. I think it's when people have behavioural issues to solve, it's amazing that how the implementation of house rules has a massive impact on the resolution of that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I see lots of people, saying about the dogs going on beds, where one person will go to bed with the dog, the other person will go up later on to go to bed, can't get in the bed because the dog is having a go at them. And then people phone and say, how do we deal with it? Or leave the dog in the kitchen, sorted. Why would you have that if there's nothing wrong with your relationship? I mean, obviously, if you don't want your partner getting into bed, that's a different story, isn't it? If there's nothing wrong with your relationship, why would you have a dog that's, guarding the bed and not letting your partner in? It's bizarre.
I know. And it is like that. And as soon as you start putting these boundaries in, like, you're not allowed in certain rooms or you're not allowed on the settee, it can really make a difference to how the dog views you, because all of a sudden you're in charge of the resources, and the dogs really respect that. And I think it has a real positive impact on the respect levels from the dogs, how they look at you, and they do become more deferential, because all of a sudden they're not just barging into places or doing things and just, what's the word? I can't think of the word at the minute, but they're just doing it. But once you start putting boundaries in and taking control of the resources, they stop going from taking and they go more to being deferential and almost asking, that rather than barge through a door, they'll let you go through first, for example. And it's just a shift in the mindset of the dog, isn't it? From just getting on with it to all of a sudden it's allowing itself to be led. It's become a follower. Yeah,
I think it just removes a lot of that over familiarity and that kind of autopilot. We get up in the morning and I barge into the kitchen and I get fed and I go and scratch at the back door and I get let out. If you start to switch things around and take more control of, resources or access to areas and things, then it has a massive positive kind of calming effect on the dog as well. And
hugely calming. Definitely.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time you do actually, talking about kind of calming, you see a lot of dogs that are, when they can just do what they want to do And I always think, really, raising a child and raising a dog are not too dissimilar. And if you've got if your dog literally has no idea of what it can do and what it can't do, because it can just do everything and jump about on the sofa, and it's just confused and it's a mess. But actually, if you bring in some guidance and some structure, then you almost see the dogs kind of breathe. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't have to make all these decisions. I just know what I can do, what I can't do, and live within the remit of that. And then there's no
Like little
animosity.
boys.
There's no animosity or anything. Then if your dog has free access to your sofa constantly, and then you come in and it's got wet feet or it's muddy, and then it jumps on your sofa, you're going to be like, get off, which is unkind, right? Because normally it's fine to do that, and then all of a sudden you're changing the goalpost, and you're like,
Yeah,
no,
definitely. And having the structure there that really fits in with their psyche as well, because they naturally live in a social group. Then every animal in a social group has got a pecking order in it. And
you're saying dogs are pack animals, Les? Blimey.
Had to go there. Dogs are pack animals. They live in social groups. And yeah, definitely. So just having that structure there and saying these are the rules, then you get deference, don't you? You get they're looking after themselves, they're minding their manners, they're developing self-control, because there's a consequence if they don't.
Yeah. And I think even if you don't have to bring in sort of standard kind of rules. I mean, if you want your dog to sleep in the bedroom, I mean, I used to have one of my dogs, Utz, who you know, he used to sleep in the bedroom, especially after my neighbours got burgled and stuff when they were in bed. So I thought, actually, might as well just poke a Rottweiler in the bedroom. But equally, there were still rules. He was never allowed upstairs during the day, ever. And when I went to bed at night, he could be called at any point after that. He might not be. He might be left downstairs, might be called after 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So, but it wasn't just his right to access that space. He came up by invite when I decided.
And that's the key, isn't it? It's because you were controlling. It was like it was still your bedroom, and he was there by your good grace, really, wasn't he?
Yeah. And similar with the sofas and things, like if you want your dog on the sofa, to me, it makes much more sense to have a dog that doesn't just get on the sofa because it wants to.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get on there all day. And then if you enjoy the cuddle time or whatever on an evening, invite the dog up.
Yeah.
And invite it off.
I was going to say, but make sure that when you tell it to get off, it gets off straight away, first time.
Yeah, I think there's nothing worse than going and visiting people. Well, there are lots of worse things, to be fair. But one thing I dislike is going to visit people and you've got their dog on your head. You're sitting on the sofa and you've got a Labrador licking your ears, or, a Spaniel sitting at the back of your head. And it's just not pleasant, is it?
Nice.
I don't know. I love dogs, but I don't like that.
No. And do you think by putting boundaries in around the home makes a difference to the bond that you have with your dog, the relationship that you have with your dog?
100%. Do you?
Okay. Nah. Yes, I do. I think putting boundaries in, developing self-control, it means that you're not constantly on your dog. You're not constantly nagging them, get in, get out, get up, get down, get off. It's just the dog's looking after itself. It's developed self-control around the house, and that way you have a much nicer relationship. You're not constantly on at them, are you?
No conflict.
That's what I think. You're not having to control them. They know the rules. They know they have to abide by the rules, and then you can just get on with it.
Yeah, there's no conflict.
No conflict.
So by definition,
no shouting, no screaming, no grabbing, none of that
just
nonsense.
have a nicer relationship, don't you? Rather than.
Do you think it changes? Do you think it changes what happens outside?
100%.
Say that again.
100%.
You can't just say 100%. You've got to expand on it.
It makes a massive, massive difference. And Well, because for those reasons you've just said, the dog becomes more kind of tuned into you, is more used to looking at you for kind of guidance and direction in a positive way. You know, they're looking at you because you control your environment, not in a kind of authoritarian kind of horrible way. You just set the rules like you do with your children. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. This is where you can go. This is where you can't go. I mean,
This
like I
is
said,
how far ahead of me you can get before I call you back.
yeah, these are the rules that we live by, and then we're all happy and we're all safe because that's the main thing, isn't it? Keeping our dogs safe when we're out and about. But because they're used to looking at you and following you and waiting for you to kind of, you know, say yes, now you can come upstairs, or now you can get on the sofa, or now you can do this, then that follows on for all your obedience training and everything you do outside, doesn't it?
And on the walks, I mean, I always find it funny. I quite often start the walk the same way, and then there's about 5 different paths that I can take once I get across the field. And there's one where I walk down the track and I can either double back and come up like the white grass field where it's really thistly and deep, or I can keep going down towards the copse. And we'll get to the turn off and both the dogs will just stop and wait for me to make the decision on which way. They wouldn't go into the field without permission, because that means they won't go in there. You know, they'll always have to, they wait while I decide which walk we're doing. And when we get to the bottom of the track, there's a signpost. And again, they'll stop at the signpost and wait to see if we're going that way or if we're going that way. But they won't make the decision.
No.
It's not their decision to make.
No, exactly. And that you see a lot of information. There's a website, I can't remember what it is now, but somebody sent it to me to look at, and it's the most ridiculous thing. It's about
okay.
Well, it is. It's about your dogs. It's their walk. You should follow them. You should do this, you should do that. And it's like, it's not their walk. It's my walk with them. And they get loads of free running. They get loads of sniffing. They get to pee up things and do whatever. But they don't dictate the way that we go. No. And just don't just follow them, and we'd never get home, would we? We'd be out all day if I followed them.
Okay, so while we're on that, what do you think of sniffy walks?
Well, where your dogs just sniff, where you just follow them. Well, I'm going to be a little bit hypocritical, because I think your walk should be very much you should have elements of your walk which are structured, and elements of your walk which are kind of free time. Right. So you structure that. You walk with me nicely to the park, then you get to the park, then you have your time to do your thing, and then you walk nicely home or whatever. However, I do, and it's an awful thing to do, I walk round in the afternoon round the block. The purpose being is for the dogs to wee up lampposts, instead of going to the park.
As long as they don't wee on car wheels.
You are?
No weeing on car wheels.
They don't wee on car wheels. They wee on
good, okay, because that's my pet hate, having a dog cock its leg on your wheel.
No, they don't wee up wheels or gate posts or anything, just lamp posts. But that's the point of going out. So I do let them do that, and it's really unhelpful. And I shouldn't do that, but I do because I'm lazy and I don't want them to go to the toilet in the garden.
Yeah, so, I'm lucky because the field's only like 50 paces away. So I'm lucky, really lucky. Because I don't like these sniffy on lead walks.
No,
I don't. I think if the dog's in its nose, it's in its nose. It's not with you.
Yeah, I would rather not do that for sure.
But what you're saying is you're taking the dog out the toilet. It weighs what's become very fashionable and talk about it a lot in the groups is having a dog on lead at the end of the lead, going back and forwards in front of you, sniffing on the
no.
Why? The dog's got 220, 300 million centiceptors in its nose. It's 18 inches from the ground. Yeah. I can smell dog poo on the ground. My dog, if I can smell it and I've only got like 5 million, the dog's got 300 million, does it really need its nose on the grass sniffing? I just think people say, no, if you give them a sniffy walk, it'll tire them out. Well, actually walking the heel on a loose lead will tire them out as well.
Yeah, I don't think a sniffy walk.
Develop self-control.
No, I don't even like the term sniffy walk. Is that your term or theirs?
No, it's not my term.
No, I don't like that term.
I don't do sniffy walks. And my dogs have sniffy walks.
No.
Like you, I start and end every walk on lead.
Yeah.
And I have periods on lead and periods off lead. And sometimes the period off lead, the dogs are wanting to heel off lead. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're out having, like, burning off the energy.
Yeah. I very much, I mean, my walks are very much, my dogs are with me. So doing whatever, all of those. And I'm not as good as you are at doing lots of training on your walks and things, but they have, obviously do as they're told, and there are requirements to come back when they're called and all the rest of it. 'Cause it's really busy, so there are, it's constant kind of
Definitely
stuff going on. But they're with me, and that's what it's about. It's the engagement, isn't it, with us? It's not, that's what we want, is for not for them to be off sniffing. And yes, they have their time to sniff and play. They play with each other and run about. Obviously, it's not. But no, it should be about us being together as a social group.
Mixed species pack, maybe.
Yeah, mixed species pack. That's what we are. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. But I think I think there's a time for dogs to play, but I think if you're walking your dog, you're walking your dog. You're not like just standing, letting your dog hoon around and do stuff like that. So what training do you do on walks? Because I do quite a bit of training on walks. What training do you do on your walks?
I suppose, I don't know whether I call it training or whether it's just living my life with the dogs. So like you, they walk on a lead, walk to heel to the park. Then they go and, we walk, but they have to be, because it's so busy here. So, because I walk in public parks, obviously. So there's joggers, there's people doing Tai Chi, there's people walking their kids to school. There's loads and loads of stuff going on. So it's constantly looking around and looking behind you. Is there a jogger coming up? Is, what's going on? There's cyclists and, oh God, all sorts going on. So, and in the summer, people are having picnics. And so it's constantly, constant recalls. I do quite a lot of kind of dropping them down at a distance and stuff like that. So they kind of get used to that. As doing that as kind of like not as a precursor to something happening. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them to just learn that, oh, there's a squirrel somewhere because I've been told to lay down. It's not. They just lay down. Yeah. Then we go, okay, let's go then. So yeah, just functional obedience, I suppose, really, so that we can live our lives safely around a million other people that we live with. Do you know what I mean? In that.
And being a safe member of society, isn't it? And not like ruining people's days out with their kids. And
no. And I think it's, we were going to mention like park etiquette and things. I have a real problem with, I have large, powerful dogs that I walk in parks. So that with that comes a high level of responsibility above the average. It's not, walking 2 or 3 Rottweilers is not the same as walking 2 or 3 Spaniels. It's a completely different thing. So I'm probably more alert to what else is going on in the environment than, I suppose, the average walker. And it really annoys me when other people just let their dogs, they go to the park and it's just, off you go then. You just go and harass whoever you want, go and, get into trouble and annoy people and cause problems for other dog walkers or kids that are fearful of dogs, whatever else it might be. You should be walking with your dog, shouldn't you? That's it. Not expecting other people to entertain it or
and walking along on your phone as well.
Well,
I sorry.
Everyone's got their blinking AirPods in now, haven't they? So you can't like they're listening to a podcast or listen to whatever. So even if you say, "Can you call your dog back?" They can't even
hear you. No. Okay. The one there was a guy walking along, he had 2 phones out and he was actually looking at 2 phones at the same time and he's walking his dog. And it's like, really? I can't look at 1 phone, let alone 2.
No, you shouldn't be looking at them.
I listen to podcasts, but I have them on loudspeaker in my phone in my pocket. Yeah. I don't wear earbuds. And if I do, I only put 1 in.
Well, someone could be coming up behind you to grab hold of you.
Dangerous. It's really dangerous. And I'm really hot on canine etiquette as well, and I always call my dogs back if I see a person or if I see a dog.
Yeah, I do.
Quite often I'll put them straight on lead as well. If it's a dog, I will always put them on lead. If it's a person, depends how close. I went around the bend, so to speak, round on the path, And as we were approaching the bend, Emrys froze. And both of them will stop when they see like an animal or a person on the track.
Yeah.
To stop and wait to find out what they're supposed to be doing next. I called him back to me. And then this guy come around the corner with this huge wire-haired Vizsla, big male dog, on a flexi lead.
Nice.
And he was just holding the handle. To give him his due, he did shorten it, but he was like this, with the dog getting pulled around. And I didn't have time to get the leads on, so I just moved the dogs off to the side to heel. And as he walked past, he was walking past, and the dog was like this, leaning towards us, and you could see the flexi starting to come out, with the pressure. And I thought, this is just ridiculous. There's no respect of other people generally.
No.
And the thing, because you've got a little dog, it's acceptable. And if you've got a big dog, they seem to think it's acceptable. But if it was your dog doing it, they would be held to pay for it. But I just find the whole canine etiquette thing, it's just not. I don't know what's happened. I think people have changed since lockdown.
I don't know if it's been since lockdown. There are several people that I meet in the morning, because I tend to walk at a similar time. I go out first thing always with my dogs. So I see lots of people that I know. And there are several of us. We all wave at each other. Yeah. All our dogs are with us, right? They're off the lead, but they're not engaging with each other. They're with us. And we wave, good morning, whatever. And that's lovely. Yeah. Because we you know what I mean? We just kind of sort of avoid each other.
I've got some of that. Yeah. You kind of go, oh, there's someone down there morning, and then you go the other way. Yeah.
And a lot of people are like that. But there are some people that they just think that their dog can, because their dog's having a walk, it can do whatever it wants to do. And it's dangerous. It's, they run up to the wrong dogs, it's just cause all sorts of problems. Yeah. And I've had, as you can imagine, several sort of incidents where I've had to scream at people because they're ruining, I think I've mentioned before about these two wolf dogs that are in my local park.
No.
Well, the woman bought two wolf dogs, litter mates, male and female. And, wolf dogs are not the easiest thing to manage, are they? And not only was she walking them out of control, she letting her son walk them. He was about 14, looked about 14, could have been 12, don't know, something like that. And every time they saw my dogs from whatever distance, if they could see them, they were coming over. And they would just run at my dogs, and they were lovely, social, friendly dogs. They're very much like young wolves. They were quite deferential and would jump in. They would jump all over the dogs, which didn't go down well. So I always used to look when they come running at me, like which one's the male, clock the male. Then as the male comes in, I'd get hold of its collar, so the male wasn't jumping on my entire male Rottweilers. And then the bitch, she kind of got away with it. And then I'll take the dog back, hand it to the woman. Yeah. And she'd be like, "Are yours not friendly?" I'm like, "No, doesn't matter if they are or not, love. I'm not." And then I saw one of the male attacked a golden retriever bitch when I was out with her, and I lost the plot with her then. And I just said, I won't tell you everything that I said, but I
said,
I said, "You are ruining everybody else's walks," because I was going out. Having to scan the horizon, because it's not like you could see them at a distance and go the other way, because if you could see them, they could see you, and they'd be coming over. So I literally lost the plot like I haven't done for years with her. And she went off, because one of the things I said was, "When are you going to train your dogs?" Politely. And she went off, and she's e-collar trained them. So now she still walks in the park, but they were under control. So I've done her and everybody else and myself a massive favour just by saying, this is not cool. We all have to live here together. And you shouldn't be expecting other people to manage your dogs. This is not your garden.
Good for you.
No,
Good
definitely.
You. I mean, I am constantly training my dogs on the walks. And I do more training with you. I tend to do lots of whistle work with them.
You do a lot more than I do, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I do lots of whistle stop at distance. Emma's has got a really, really high prey drive.
Yeah.
And he's really fast. And so I'll do 5 or 6 whistle stops at distance on every walk with them and whistle recalls.
Yeah, that's good. Because I suppose largely where you live, you could just, because you don't have to meet that many people, do you, on your walks, or do you?
No. If I go across the fields, I don't see anybody.
No, so you could largely just let them do their thing, couldn't you? But you don't.
Yeah.
You have to kind of keep.
Yeah. No, there's too many deer and there's a lot of pheasants and partridge around.
Yeah.
And when you go across the field, there's like the track through the centre of the white grass field. The grass is quite high, it's waist height. And you'll see like little circles where the deer have camped out in the night and the dogs are in there. And he came across the phone once, and it's like, no, whistle sit straight away. We don't want you anywhere near that. And if he puts the pheasant up, then I'll get the whistle out. But he's so fast. But there's, as soon as I hit that field, I've literally got my whistle in my mouth straight away because he's so fast. By the time I pick it up and put it in my mouth, he's gone.
Yeah, miles away. No, I know. It's different, actually, different distractions. I was out in the country the other day and this little muntjac just popped up out of nowhere.
A little what?
Little muntjac deer just popped up
like
out of nowhere. Literally, sort of like, not very long grass, actually, but yeah, just boing, there it was.
They don't look like deer, do they? They look like little miniature cows.
I don't know. I was just too. My immediate response was just a yell, down, like you do when you just like deer springs out about 2 foot from you. Your legs.
I know it's funny because we've got a little brook at the bottom of the field, like separating the playing field to the white grass. But we've got this little brook, and Emrys will run alongside the brook, but there's like all these reeds and bushes and stuff, and he'll run along it, and then all of a sudden you'll just see a deer pop out and jump the brook.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh god.
And I can see them from the kitchen window in the morning. And right, okay, the deer are out. I just need to be a little bit careful. You can see them walking across the tracks.
It's funny. I was out. I went to again the countryside, and there was this like wheat or whatever. I don't know what it is.
What?
Wheat or grass or something.
Wheat,
I was walking around the edge of this field.
A grain thing.
I don't know what it was, some country thing. And I thought all these birds were like sitting on top of the corn or whatever it was. and I just thought, oh, look at all those birds, and carried on walking. And I noticed the dogs were like sniffing about a bit, and then they weren't birds at all. They were like deer antlers stood in the grass. Why I thought there'd be a load of birds sitting on top of wheat, I don't know. But it was like a herd of deer.
You thought the birds were just sitting on top of the wheat store?
Well, I don't know. I just thought there's a load of birds. I didn't think too much about it. And then, of course, I thought, oh, you idiot. Look, it's a whole herd of deer there.
You didn't have to say. No, it is funny. I think training on your walks a must. And really doing it when they're young and then just topping it up all the time.
Yeah.
Just, have the boundaries in on the walk and then reinforce them with a bit of training. And I do lots of games on the walks with the dogs just to keep them on, buzzing and
no, I think you have to, and like we said probably on the last one about the socialization, is if you start early and get it all in, like you don't start letting your puppy run to every single dog in the park because that's more fun than you. It's there's a dog, look, that's right, and off we go this way, and we'll have a little game over here on our own, thank you.
Yeah.
Then you start to condition the behaviours that you want in your adult dog, don't you? Because there's nothing worse. I just think for everybody, walking in public places, there's nothing worse than just having a dog that runs over to everybody or being ran at by someone's dog.
Yeah, it's really dangerous as well.
Yeah,
you just don't know what's going to happen next, do you?
No, it's really unpleasant. And there's, dog theft and all sorts of things to consider, isn't there? If your dog's approaching everybody else, you don't want that.
You don't want that.
No.
It'd be really easy I don't hear of many thefts up here. I'm sure there's loads of them, but I'm quite isolated back. And you remember when I lived down in Marlborough, the especially gun dog theft was
gun dogs. Yeah, for sure.
You don't want people, you don't want your dog just walking over to people. If people, click their fingers for the dog to go over to them, definitely not.
No, exactly. No, and I think like your recall and things like that are really important, because I do have people occasionally, weirdos, will kind of try and call the dog to them or something. Do you know what I mean? And like,
Really?
hello. Yeah, you do. Especially if I was out with a client the other day, the Labrador, and these people like actively calling it.
Yes.
I'm like, what are you doing? I want to say hello. I'm like, jog on, love. No, thanks. No, absolutely not. So it's really important your recall is so that you can get your dog back and not have idiots, because you do have to watch out for a lot of idiots, don't you? That's the thing.
Just one or two.
A lot of idiots around, and you have to kind of prepare for that.
I thought you were about trying to call your rotties to them and saying, my God, who on earth would call three big rotties away from you?
No, not many people do that. But there are some weirdos around, aren't there? There are some. I mean, I have people that come up to me, like, to be fair, I only walk 2 Rottweilers at a time in London because there's too many people around that make your life so hard. But I have people come up with their dogs and they're like, can they say hello? You think, really? Do you really want to come and say hello to me? Look at my face and look at these dogs. Do you really want to come over here?
Do you have your grumpy face on?
Always.
Go on then, let's have a look.
No, I can't do it now. I'm far too happy talking to you. No, I do pull a face. Yeah, I'm horrible.
I do get it, because there's like a lot of labs around here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my Labrador wants to say hello to your Labrador. No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
You've got your disgust face on now, look.
It comes easily to me.
Is that what you do? That's the face you pull, is it? No, I don't think so. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't want it. I don't go for a walk to talk to other people. I go out for a walk to exercise my dogs and for my own kind of mental health, to get some exercise and some air. That's what I'm out. I'm not out there to make friends and entertain people. I like the people that I speak to, but it's always very kind of quick conversations. I don't walk with other people, as lots of people do. They meet up and all wander together. I'm like, no, not part of that group.
Yeah, I now and again I'll occasionally walk with somebody.
No, I don't.
More often than not, we'll bump into each other on the walk and go, "How you doing? Fancy a coffee?" And then it's like a dog free.
Yeah, that's fair.
And one of our favourite coffee shops, actually, that we used to go to a lot, Silver Birch, has now got loads of dogs. And me and Kenny went for breakfast one day. And I said, I don't think I'm going to come back here. They've started allowing dogs in, so people are sitting with the dogs at the table with them. They're taking dog beds in, putting dog beds on the chairs.
Oh my God.
Having the dogs sit at the table with them.
Oh, what?
And it's like, this doesn't work for me anymore. I don't think I can come here anymore. It just is. I'm not interested in my dog sitting at the table, let alone somebody else's dog sitting at the table.
No, but there's dog friendly and dog friendly, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not. No.
And we don't do dog friendly very often, because of Kenny being allergic to dogs. The last thing we want is a stranger's dog coming over and licking him and then him getting hives or anything.
Yeah. No, horrible. How does he cope with your dogs then?
Fine. He used to, when we had bought, we were feeding dry food then, and he would get hives.
Okay.
Of the saliva. And then when we went across to raw food, he didn't really get them.
No. Oh, so he's not allergic to dogs. He's just allergic to
digestive enzymes. Sorry, Ross.
He's not allergic to dogs then. He's just allergic to processed pet food.
I think that's what it is. I mean, sometimes the dander will get to him. I have to, be really careful with that. Spud and Angus never licked. The Labradors are lickers, so sometimes they can just whereas Spud and Angus never licked, and so he was really happy, like grooming them and sitting with them and stuff. But when the labs start licking, you've got the disgust face on now. When the labs start licking,
I don't like being licked like that.
Yeah. No. But I mean, these two are great. They're really well suited. Dante's very calm. Emerson's wild.
Yeah.
He's not really wild, honestly. He's really well trained and really well behaved, but he's just got this wild streak.
Yeah. Well, he's still young, isn't he? He's 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. No.
2.5. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I've got, two youngsters. That's stupid.
I know. What's the age difference between them? Because Dante and Spud only had like 9.5 months between them.
Mine is now nearly 2 years.
Mm.
I've got probably 10 months and about 12 months apart. 22.
Really? Do you want to say that again?
Yeah, maths is my strong point. They're probably about 2 years apart.
Okay.
Just under 2 years apart.
And what was I going to ask you? No, it's gone. It's gone. So do you walk the two youngsters together?
Whatever. I go in whatever So if in the country, I'll take all of them together.
Mm-hmm.
But in London, not so much. So I'll take any kind of variation depending on what I'm doing.
Okay.
But it's just like we always said when we were delivering dog safety talks and things. When you're exercising your dogs, it's about preparing for the worst case scenario, not the best.
Yeah.
And can I really walk 21, 22 stone of dog in a public park in London and manage in the worst situation? Like if I've got 3 Rottweilers and those wolf dogs run over, can I then manage 5 dogs in that situation? Very borderline, isn't it? So safety wise, bearing in mind the idiots we meet, then
Yeah, I think had Spud have been a big dog, I wouldn't have walked the 3 of them together.
No, I mean it also depends on the dogs. I mean, I used to walk. I had the 2 Rottweilers, Shepherd and Pomeranian, and I would walk the 4 of them together. But equally, they didn't have such a strong, I think, pack drive as the Rottweilers have. So even though I had 4 dogs, really all I had to manage was the 2 Rottweilers. Because if there was any kind of incident or altercation or anything like that, the Shepherd and the Pomeranian wouldn't be involved. Whereas the Rottweilers would pile in. So it's still walking 2 Rottweilers, and I just had other 2 dogs with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were just added extras.
Yeah, they were just, and you're just, there they are just following you, which is fine. But no, it's not the same.
They do pile in with each other because when the German Shepherd got hold of, he grabbed Dante and then he let go of Dante and he grabbed hold of Emrys.
Yeah.
And Dante turned on him. Dante ploughed straight in there.
Yeah.
Which Dante's never went for a dog before. Which made it like even more annoying, the fact that he then went for the Shepherd.
But it had to do it, hadn't he? Because
he had to do it. And I think I was more angry about that than my dog's being attacked. The fact that she had so little control of my dog. I mean, I was kicking it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it off.
No. No, it's horrendous. No, well, yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? It's a horrible experience. But they do, as you've mentioned, a couple of dogs are pack animals, aren't they? So, of course, if one of those is under threat, then naturally
they'll join in.
They're going to look after each other, aren't they? That's the point of being a social kind of cohesive group, is that you're looking after each other.
Yeah. Do you remember the video we played on the dog safety courses of the woman being attacked by the stray dogs?
Yes.
In the red coat.
Yeah.
In the red coat.
Yeah.
And like that, it was a pack attack, wasn't it? And the work, I mean, it was really good. It was a really good pack attack because the pack split and they went behind her.
Yeah.
And the ones behind her grabbed her bag and the ones at the front of her were distracting her.
Yeah.
And then the guy came along with a snow shovel and started bashing them, didn't he?
Yeah. You do, and you see it. I've seen it with dogs. I've seen it in, daycare environments and things. Whereas if you have an altercation with 2 dogs, it's long for another 20 to join in because they're dogs.
Yeah.
So I think it's like the top tip, I guess, if nothing else, people learn is prepare for, can I manage in the worst situation, as opposed to, can I walk my dogs through the lovely cornfields with no one else and nothing else around? That's not the point, is it?
No, with the sun shining, the sunflowers and a flea.
With a flake, with your AirPods in and you're
on the phone.
Yeah.
And actually, we were talking about this the other day. Stay off your phones. There was a survey done. There was they did like a couple of experiments, and they had people walking along, AirPods on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had clowns going past them on unicycles. They didn't even see them.
That's ridiculous.
That's how zoned in you get. You get
Yeah.
sucked into your phone. You see people doing it all the time on the walk. The dog's over in the corner having a crap. They don't even know it.
No, don't see it.
It's off, 500 yards away from them. They've got no concept of it. So, yeah, safety first. Stay off your phone.
Be present. Be present. Be looking at the environment.
You owe it to your dog as well. You know what I mean? My God, if you only got a dog to walk it with your head in your iPhone and any other smartphone that you fancy.
Well, to be honest, actually, a thing that frustrates me a lot, which has nothing to do with dogs, but following on from that, the amount of parents I see, right, with their like young kids, like newborn babies, whatever, very young children in, I was going to say strollers, in pushchairs or prams or whatever, and they're on the phone staring at it, or they've got things in their ears taking their kids to school.
Disengaged.
I'm like, what are you doing? How is that parenting? And you're looking at some hideous reel on Instagram or TikTok, and your kid's going to be 18 before you know it, and you've missed all this stuff.
I know. When we were teaching the other week, me and Richard had a coffee afterwards, and we were sitting chatting. There was one behind us, and she was on a high like the bar stools, you know.
Yeah.
She had 2 kids with her, and she was on her phone like this.
Yeah.
Kid kept falling off the chair. I mean, he hurt himself quite badly. She was like this.
What is so important on your phone?
Kid.
Looking at other people's looking at other people's holiday snaps or other people's dinner last night or whatever, do you know what I mean? And your kids falling off chairs.
I know.
Dear.
I know. So come on then. We're off on one. We're having a rant.
I was just going to say on that note, I'm off for a glass of wine.
Right, come on then. Top tip. So boundaries at home.
Yeah,
Really
boundaries at home.
important.
Yeah,
Boundaries
and make
at home.
those boundaries can be your boundaries, can't you? Know what I mean? Develop, like I was saying about inviting
Your house, your rules,
and inviting your dog on your bed or your sofa or not, whatever. But it's just having some structure consistently implemented, so everybody knows the rules and everyone can be happy.
And when you're on walks, apply the boundaries as well.
Yeah.
Don't let your dog get too far ahead of you. Don't let your dog call the shots. Engage with your dog. Be with your dog. Be in the moment with your dog. Do some
respect
training.
Everybody else. Respect everybody else in the environment as well. They've got as much right to use it as you have. So respect them and keep your dogs under control.
Yep. And practice your whistle recalls and your whistle sets.
Yeah. Or if
or
you're not
downing your dog at distance as you do. You do the down, I do the whistle set.
Yeah. Yeah. I do the down. That's kind of, saved me a few times, that has.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Cool. So on that, that ranty note, shall we go?
That was a bit
what we're doing next
ranty.
time? What we're doing next time?
I think next time we are inviting a guest, aren't we?
We are.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah. So it'll be a threesome next time.
We're having a threesome next time.
Nice.
Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah. Was it this?
What were you going to say?
No, nothing. I'm actually nothing. No, it's probably time to call it a day, isn't it? And look forward to seeing our guests.
I think so. Shall I see you next time?
See you next time.
See you later. You take it steady.
Yeah, take care.
Thanks for listening. It's not just gun dogs and not just guard dogs, but all things canine, as we hope you have discovered. Please like, share and subscribe and help us spread a bit of common sense back into dog ownership. And a review wouldn't go amiss either. Catch up with Les and Ross again in about 14 days for more canine conversations. Until next time, stay well and enjoy your dogs. Any dog-related questions or topics, just drop an email to talk@cfba.uk or message us via facebook.com/Gundogs and Guard Dogs podcast.